Nowadays, there are so many human cries in the human rights and the social justice, as if earlier days it was the paradise of keeping the human rights and also the social justice. And ironically, this kind of the uproar or the demand is coming from the Western countries, who has the bad track record of ignoring the human rights and the social justice. They have took they they took the thousands and the thousands of the people for the indentured laborers for the plantations in these African countries as a slave, and those people are crying about the human rights and the social justice. Unfortunately, we are also obeying that. It doesn't mean that we are supporting that kind of the injustice, and it is said the justice delayed is called the justice denied. We like it. And definitely injustice should not happen to anybody in this country, because we are a democratic country and it is the largest democracy in this world, India. But till now, it's the reality that injustice happens in our society. And this is coming from the core inside our thinking. So before eradicating the human rights differences or the injustice, we must be purified from inside out. And for that, we need to change our education systems. And instead of this kind of the education systems which teach us for the rat race, for the career advancement, instead of the morality in the life, and we are forgetting our responsibilities. And this morality should begin from the home itself. What we are doing. Many of our folk are getting educated and educated enough to go to the foreign land, USA, and they are settling there. And they don't have the time to go to their native place, native home, to see their aging parents. So is it a human right? It's not a human right. Either you make an arrangement to look after them in their home, and also there are instances that even after death of their parents, they do not come. Is it a human right? It is said that the charity begins at home. If you people cannot show your charity, if you people cannot show your human right in your home itself, there is no need for the showmanship of donating some amount of the money, huge amount of the money in the name of the human right and the social justice. Justice begins from the family level itself. Now, let's come to the society level. Definitely, as a whole, we have the responsibility to lift up the downtrodden people. And here lies the role of the government schools. Government had said everything in the schools to give the educations, equal education for everybody. But unfortunately, the same government has allowed the teachers of those schools to involve too much in this politics, village panchayat member, and to be elected as a local body member of the municipality. So if they are doing that kind of thing, so when they are going to have the time to teach the students, so what is their prime responsibilities? And the education getting neglected. It is in the bottom, rock bottom. So what can you expect from that kind of the education system? So where the teachers are allowed to do everything. There are ample examples of the teachers are not going to school at all, and also getting the salary. So how can you expect the social justice or the human right if you cannot provide them proper educations in the schools? Those hapless children is bound to be in the rush for earning the money by whatever means they find it, because they do not get the educations of the morality, they do not get the proper education to compete with the other good students in this outward worlds. But there are some people who are fortunate, whose parents have some power and affordability to admit them in the good schools, costly schools. They can get these educations. But even then, they cannot develop the morality in their mind, and so human right also is a very rare thing. Earlier days, what happened? If anybody was in distress in the streets, accidents, somebody was always there to help them. But nowadays, people are quite busy in making a rally out of that unfortunate incident as well. Where is the human right? And most of the human rights incident of what we are seeing it, what it is appearing in the media, social media, it is because of some purported interest of the political gain. Leaders are going there for showing the media that they are so much concerned about this human rights issues. But the real human rights situations of where it is originated from, nobody sees. If the seed itself is bad, it's bound to produce the tree which can produce the poisons only in its mind. So real human right should begin with our thinking. It is not about the granting some freebies and freebies from the government in the name of Ladli Bahan or in the name of Lakhir Bhandar. It is creating our total systems as a collapsed. It makes our system, our populations to remain most indolent, not to be active in the proper time situation. Instead, if the government had an initiative to train the people so that they can get the proper education, skill development, so that they can earn themselves, that will be much more beneficial. Giving them the freebies can harm our productivity. In the real life situations, there are no persons in the village, rural village area to do something to earn their money because they are getting without doing anything in the real life situations. And that's why economy is not developing. They are not developing, but those people who has to develop, those people who has a desire to develop, they are developing. Maybe there is a purported interest of the politicians to keep them not to be educated properly. Otherwise, they cannot run year after year by duping, by silencing the people in that tactics of the freebies. Freebies won't be helpful. So, in my opinion, the human right to have the concern properly, to serve the downtrodden people, to serve the poor people properly, we need to eradicate the bad education systems, and we must initiate to give the proper moral education to the young children, so that after 20 years you will get that good moral people, so that they can be helpful to the society as well. They can contribute to the society as well. Instead of the flying abroad, instead of looking for the greener pastures, they can invest some things in our own soil, and we can develop our own industry. And that industry itself can employ the hundreds and hundreds of our people, hundreds of our laborers in our country. So that is the part of the human right. And you give the free educations, but the standard educations. In the name of the free, it should not be the substandard education. Education is the prime part for the primary need of the human rights. What else? Government had already had initiated the midday meal. The thinking is big, thinking is great, but what's happening in the ground reality? The teachers are too much involved in cooking the food, arrangement and managing the cooking the food, and to distribute the students in the midday. No matter about the quality. And their own, the core responsibility of teaching the students, that is being neglected because of that midday meal. But anyway, it's a good talking about topic, the human rights and the social justice. In reality, there should not be difference between the people. There should have an equal opportunities for the educations. There should have an equal opportunity and to develop yourselves up to the competitive level so that you can get it. But even then, this caste systems in the government, the reservation from the SC, ST, OBC, these are creating the differences from the very childhood. And because of that, we are not improving our quality, because we know that I have some quota, I will get some government job. what is the result? The result is that quality is compromised. We are losing this opportunity to get the good scientist and the great businessman because of that reservation systems. So all these are also the real contributor of not having the social justice and the human rights. And for those people who are thinking that human rights are not being considered right now, no, it was there, it is there, and it will be there. I can remind you, if there was a human right in such case, in the age of Mahabharata, the brilliant student in the archery, Eklavya, who was denied to get educated from Guru Drona, who was from the upper caste. But without getting disturbed out of denial, Eklavya created the image from the earth, soil, and just to have a devotion on the Guru Dronacharya, he became one of the finest archers in that area, who can pinpointed an arrow to hit the mark by hearing the sound itself. But on knowing this, Guru Dronacharya compelled him to give him Guru Dakshina, the money to the teachers. And what he got in the Guru Dakshina? Eklavya had to cut his vital thumb fingers, for which he used to take the archers, the arrow. He used to bound the arrow in the bow. But Eklavya gave it to his guru, cut it. Was it a social justice? Wasn't it a human right concern? It was. So that means the human rights and the social justice lacking was there, is now, and will be there until and unless we can mitigate to some effect by means of proper educations, by means of proper governance and the laws in all level of the society. If people are responsible, we believe that we cannot eradicate, but at least we can improve the situation, what is now. So that's all, in my opinions. What do you say? Please make it in the comment. Thank you.